Did you know that if you want to purchase a home in Vancouver, it's going to take you 40 years to save up a down payment? Well, at least that's what this article says. And after seeing about 25 people repost and share this on Instagram, I thought I should probably dive in and take a deeper look. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right after this. What's going on, guys? Alex Dunbar here from the Dunbar Real Estate Group and Remax Treeline Realty based out of the Surrey Langley areas. And in this video, I'm going to be going over this clickbait headline stating that it takes 40 years to save up a down payment to purchase a home in Vancouver. If this is your first time on my channel, I make weekly real estate videos based on the BC real estate market as well as showcase community tours across the Lower Mainland. So if that's something you're interested in seeing more of, I suggest you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you're notified whenever I put out a new video. And before I get into it, if you're on the same page as me and you hope that this article is absolutely rubbish and it's going to take far less than 40 years, hit that thumbs up button. But I'm excited to share this one with you, so let's not waste any more time, and I'm going to share my screen and go through the article line by line with you. All right, let's get into it. Home, my God. Very creative. It could take you 40 years to save for a down payment in Vancouver. All right, let's see the numbers. The first step to owning a home is to save up for a down payment, and for the average Vancouver home buyer, they'd have to save for nearly 40 years. All right. According to a new report from the National Bank of Canada on housing affordability for a detached home in Vancouver, a home buyer would have to save for 452 months just to be able to put 10% down. That equals over 37 years. Okay, well, keep this number in mind because we're going to come back to it. This is based on a market representative home price of $1.66 million with an annual household income of $285,000. Not sure where they got either of these numbers. Again, we'll come back to it in a minute. For the Vancouver home buyer who'd settle for a condo, they'd have to save for 63 months for a down payment. This is based on an average condo price of $709,000 with an annual household income of $142,000. According to NBC, we currently are in the worst decline for housing affordability in a generation. The NBC report highlights the fact that affordability in Vancouver kicked off the same way in 2022, the way it had been for most of the previous year. Home prices continue to rise alongside already high interest rates, which have been increasing as well. We just had a recent rate hike. It sounds like we're probably going to have one or two more before the end of the year, so we will see what happens. Anyways, here is a chart of Vancouver versus the rest of Canada compared to basically every other major market in Canada. The situation in Vancouver is dire for prospective homebuyers. Essentially, this is showing the median income on the y-axis and the year on the x-axis. So we have non-condos up here, which I'm assuming is just detached townhomes, duplexes, and things of that nature. Then we have composite, which I believe would include everything, and then we have condos down here. Anyways, that's not the point that I want to address. It's a couple of ridiculous claims in the article. So going back up, first of all, put down 10%. If the property is over $1 million, you have to put down 20%. So why is this even a relevant number in the article? It seems like whoever wrote this doesn't necessarily understand the home buying process. Anyways, I digress, but why are they using this percentage if you're talking about someone buying a home that's $1.66 million? It just doesn't make sense. Next, moving on, I don't know where they came up with this $1.66 million. I don't know if this is just Vancouver itself, if it includes Greater Vancouver. I looked into my stats for a detached home or even detached combined with townhomes. It was higher than what they have here. So again, not sure where they got it, but whatever, we'll stick with that. And then an annual household income of $285,000. I'm not sure, did they just pull this one out of their behinds? Because from what I've been looking at, the average and median household incomes, or not household incomes, but individual incomes from what I could find were somewhere between 90 and 130,000, which weren't up to date necessarily. I couldn't find any definitive answer, but whatever. Let's just say it was 285,000, which I highly doubt. That would mean over 452 months, it would take them that long to save about 166,000 based on the numbers in this article. So if you actually do the math, it ends up being $367 per month. This family is making $285,000 gross, which by my calculations, so what I've used is, I said the wife is making $145,000, the husband's making $140,000, which essentially is gonna give you about $195,000 in net income, so almost $200,000 net income. And they're only able to save $367 per month. Who came up with these numbers? They gave them the most ridiculous household income, and then all of a sudden they just don't know how to save money? Plus the fact that they're talking about a 10% down payment. Anyways, none of it adds up. None of it makes any sense. So essentially, with this $367 per month, the family would be saving about $4,400 per year. $4,400 out of that almost $200,000 net income. If that's all they're able to save, it's not an affordability problem. It's a financial literacy problem. If you don't know how to save more money than that, I don't care if you have $6,000, $7,000 in rent, you're still gonna be able to save far more money than that. So now I just want to address all the issues that I found within this article. I just want to reciprocate a couple of things that I've already said. So number one, clearly the low level of savings, $367 a month doesn't make any sense. The numbers don't add up. Number two, they're not taking account for what the future home prices are gonna be. Historically, home prices here in the Lower Mainland in Vancouver have doubled every 10 years, and they're not even taking that into account. So even with all the ridiculous numbers they're throwing out there, it still doesn't make any sense. Again, as I mentioned before, the average or median household income from the numbers I could find, it was somewhere between $90,000 to $130,000 per individual. They have it at $285,000 for a household. I think that's high. Not really sure where they came up with that number, but again, in my opinion, I do not think this is correct. I do not think that is the average household income in Vancouver. Another factor that they didn't take into account, well, maybe they did because of the high starting level of income, is that the majority of people over their time in a career, in their job, in a field, are gonna have an increasing level of income. So it's not just gonna be moving on a linear basis on the amount of money that they're able to save. Now again, with all the other ridiculous numbers in this article, I don't even know if there's a point of trying to make this argument, but it is something I wanted to point out. And of course, it would be difficult to try and calculate that in here, but it's just something that you should consider. And I'm sure they have some sort of a rough calculation somewhere as to how much an individual's income increases on average over X number of years. And lastly, they're not accounting for any investment potential. And if we look at the average return on an index fund, for instance, is somewhere between 8 to 10% annually, then we would also want to be calculating this into our equation. However, if the people from this article that are only saving $367 per month are actual real life people, then they probably don't have the financial literacy to actually go about and invest their money, unfortunately. Anyways, the whole purpose of this video is because, as I mentioned, I saw about 15 to 20 people repost the Instagram post from Daily Hive without actually looking into the numbers. Yes, it had a fantastic clickbait headline, but none of it really makes sense. And don't get me wrong, I understand how expensive Vancouver is and how difficult it is to purchase a home here. However, we can't just make up random numbers. And another point I want to make is, unfortunately, we live in the age of disinformation. And because it's so much easier to just click share than to actually read an article and do your due diligence and do some research of your own, we have false information such as this article shared all the time. So if you're watching this, please don't be one of those people. If you see a catchy headline, at least read the article before you repost it. And I'm not asking everyone to read every single article you come across and look at the math behind it, but please, let's try and implement some critical thinking into our everyday lives. And that's about gonna do it for this video, but if you did get any value from it, all I'll ask is that you hit that thumbs up button. Additionally, if you are looking to buy or sell a property in the greater Vancouver area and you want actual information and data rather than clickbait headlines, you can scroll down, hit the first link, and book a call with me at your convenience. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.